Hey Google fans, Cam here from 9 to 5 Google, and if 2015 taught us anything, it's that there's a huge opportunity in the smartphone market for high-end, affordable mid-range phones. Remarkably, one of the fastest growing Chinese companies to do that is Oppo, and they sent us their newest phone, the F1 Plus. Now in the box you get all the regular stuff. There's a shiny, slim, oval SIM ejector tool, which is quite attractive. And just like the OnePlus X, it comes with its own slim, transparent case, which has these sort of dots all over it. You also get the usual couple of paper guides, and a pair of earphones that look like the ones that shipped with the original iPhone. But there are a couple of things worth noting here that are interesting. Oppo ships this phone with a VOOC Flash Charging adapter and a compatible USB cable. Unlike quick charge, this means you'll be able to fill your battery up really fast while still being able to use the phone and not have it get overly warm. That's pretty cool. Now turning to the phone itself, there are a couple of layers of protection here. There's a translucent wraparound plastic which comes off quite easily. Then there's a layer of film stuck to the back protecting that gold anodized aluminum. Like a few other manufacturers, there's also a pre-installed screen protector. But now we can power this thing on and get our first look at the device. And there's no way of getting away from this. There's something very familiar about that metal casing on the back. Kinda looks like an iPhone. It's slim with rounded corners, has a couple of antenna bands running along it, and a protruding camera on the left corner. What's more, there are volume buttons on the left and a power button and SIM tray on the right. Then on the bottom edge you have the 3.5mm jack and microphone, charging port, and the machined holes for the speaker grill. There's no denying it's a good looking phone, but its front panel does seem to jut out from the chassis a little. Now before diving into specs, it's worth noting two things I noticed immediately. First off, the VOOC Flash Charging technology can get the 2850 mAh battery from 0 to 100% within an hour. Now second, it has one of the most accurate and insanely quick fingerprint sensors I've ever used. It's on par with the Huawei. Also on the front is a 16 megapixel selfie camera. Now this phone is the selfie king, or as Oppo puts it, the selfie expert. In fact, there are more pixels in the front-facing camera than the back one, because the back one only has 13 megapixels. Now on the front of the phone there's also a bright and colourful 5.5-inch 1080p AMOLED display. And that's in a front panel with very little screen gap or bezel, which adds to the element of aesthetic appeal. It boasts a generous 4GB of RAM and 64GB of storage, which you can expand, but the Octa-Core Helio P10 chip inside doesn't overly impress in my early benchmark tests. Animations were a little stuttery in the Antutu 3D benchmarks, and scores were pretty middle of the road in Geekbench 3. It runs ColorOS on top of Android Lollipop. Yep, not Marshmallow, which also has something of an iPhone-like feel to it. Still, initial use seems pretty smooth and relatively stutter-free. And despite the lack of imagination with software and hardware design, it's hard not to like the Oppo F1 Plus. It looks great, has a nice display, and a genuinely useful charging technology. I'll be testing it further, of course, over the coming days, and will bring you my full review later on. It'll cost £299 in the UK or €389 in continental Europe when it hits Amazon here shortly. While it won't make it to the US, it is available to pre-order in India for just under 29,000 rupees. I've been Cam, I'm at Cam Bunton on Twitter, and I'll see you again soon.